Welcome back, everyone, to episode 27 of the Tricks and Traps Speedrun. So I'm coming into today, rated 1600 on the dot. And before we get into the chest today, I do want to just mention that this might be the last episode for a little while. I am traveling very soon, and I'm not sure how much I'll be able to record and post while traveling. So don't worry, the series is not ending. I might just take a small break, and hopefully I'll be back with more content very soon. So with that out of the way, let's hop into the first game. Okay, first opponent playing Animo. Play e4. And what do I want to play today? I'm going to play a Scotch. d4. Going for a Scotch Gambit. We see bishop to c5. So, to be honest, I don't know too much theory here, but I'm going to go for c3. Simply gambiting, allowing black to take. Usually the point of the Scotch Gambit is to accelerate development and get some early initiative. But we see queen to f6. So not a move I've seen before, and this is probably the first moment where I'm out of my opening preparation. Black is defending a pawn on d4 with the queen. But let's calculate bishop g5, queen g6. If I take, then there's queen takes e4. Yeah, I'm just going to castle. And really the point of this opening is to accelerate development, castle quickly, and then generate tactics in the early middle game. So pawn d6, normal looking move. Now I think I will play bishop g5, attacking the queen. Now I can take. Now it is true my knight is a bit overworked. It's defending d4 and g5. So maybe black will try to take on d4. Which, to be honest, I don't think I mind. Like, I'll probably still be down a pawn, but a position would open up a little bit. Instead, black plays bishop to b6. So now what to do? And I have the center developed. I'm castled. Knight c3 is natural. I do want to try and punish this queen, but it's not easy to do so right away. And there's a move e5 to consider. e5, take. Should also just be aware that black wants to play bishop g4 next. Pin the knight and then pressure the pawn. Yeah, I'm going to take a moment here. I don't think it's worth playing h3. It just feels slow and could actually backfire with the queen on g6. Bishop e3 comes to mind. Okay, I'm going to go for knight c3. And yeah, black gets bishop g4, and now black is threatening to take. Actually, is black threatening to take? Take, and then I win f7. Yeah, I should probably move the bishop here. Let's go for bishop to e3. Making sure I'm not losing a bishop. This does allow black to take, and then take on d4. But yeah, I think I'm happy with that. Then have some open files to work with. Black will still be a bit underdeveloped. Okay, knight f6. So pressuring the e4 pawn. Yeah, kind of a tense position. Like, the center looks really nice for white, but it's definitely under pressure. Briefly considering knight h4, but there's queen h5. Always got to consider these pawn pushes. Kind of drawn towards bishop d3. Like, usually the bishop's happy on c4 to target f7, but it's also nice aligning the bishop with the queen. And here I'm really just looking to maintain my nice center. We might see queen h5, create the battery against my knight. We see knight d7. Interesting. So now e5. e5, queen h5. Oh, there's also... Should keep in mind this move. Knight e5 and then take to hit the queen. Knight d5 comes to mind. Playing a little bit slowly here. I'm going to go for knight d5. I feel like this is one of the more aggressive options. And it ties down the bishop to defending c7. So black cannot get away with winning the pawn on d4. And if black castles... Oh, castles queenside. Actually, if black were to castle either way, there's a potential for knight c7, knight e7. So maybe I can play rook c1 here. Simply aligning on the c-file. And I am threatening to take the knight, removing the guard of e7. I have a feeling black's going to allow this. It can be a very easy thing to miss. But my opponent's slowing down a little bit. Yeah, black should probably play something like king b8 or rook e8. Yeah, bishop takes d4. I can either take back or just take the knight directly. Probably just rook takes c6. Okay, we do see king b8. So opponent has some danger levels. But now I can still probably take on c6. And this works out really nicely. Temporarily sacking the exchange. It's still knight e7. And not forking king and queen, but forking queen and pawn. And yeah, once the queen moves, I'll take on c6, forking the king and the rook, and win back material. Or maybe if black's not careful, let's imagine queen f6, knight c6, king c8. There's bishop a6, checkmate. So black should move here or here. King b7. I really want to maintain my knight. Is this a move? Probably not. Yeah, let's just take the rook. So I've won a pawn. Keeping initiative 2. Unfortunately, e5 does not win the queen because there's queen takes f3. And I don't really want to trade queens, so let's set up another trick. Queen g3. Not only avoiding the queen trade, but threatening bishop to g5 with a skewer. So I am leaving the pawn to be captured on d4, which black does. Now I'll win. I'll actually win the rook, like for free. The queen can't move to defend the rook. And now I don't mind trading queens. Yeah, that pawn was pinned. Whoa, okay. That was weird. Like I played pawn takes g3, but then it took the move back. I think my opponent resigned at exactly that moment. So nice game. Relatively short in terms of moves. 21 moves. One brilliant move was probably rook takes c6, right? Game review is broken again. It's stuck at 1%. This happened last episode too. Let me refresh. I just want to see my brilliant move.
What a bold sacrifice of your rook. A brilliant tactical idea.
Okay. Makes me happy. We go back to analysis. Just quickly go through. Just want to see if there were any clear improvements from my side, especially after queen f6. Oh, so the engine likes e5 here, which I didn't think I could get away with right away because knight takes e5. Ah, but there's queen e2. Attacking the knight, knight is pinned, and after this, there's this. Winning the knight. Okay, so e5 is actually very nice. And then here, engine says it's about equal. Yeah, maybe black could have gotten away with winning a pawn. Like, let's say takes, and then takes. Though engine really likes this. Yeah, I was probably going to be happy to go into this. There's knight b5, hitting this and this, bishop b6. And okay, engine likes a4. There's also e5, which looks fun. Unleashing the queen. But that was a fun game. Got a fun position early on and eventually got the tactics. So that brings me to 1608. My phone is ringing. Have to call this person back. And let's hop into the next game. Okay, playing Pappy. Let's have a king's pawn. Bishop's opening. Play knight f6. d4. Oh wow. So this is a Urusov gambit. So if I take, there's knight. I think the main move is knight f3. You know, Jonathan Schrantz has a famous video about this opening.
Tonight we'll be looking at the move d4.
I think he recommends knight f3 in his video.
Not e5, but knight f3.
e5 is interesting. Attacking the knight. Now I'm the one who has to deal with a tricky opening. I think the key move here is to play d5. There's a lot of other similar lines where d5 is necessary. This is probably one of those positions. Counterattacking the bishop. Sort of takes, I take. It's a fair trade. White saves the bishop, and now let's centralize a knight. And there's actually a small trap here of f3. I would have this. Queen takes d4. Do I have bishop c5? I think white is now the one getting trapped. Skewering the queen along with f2 pawn. If queen takes d5, of course I don't want to blunder mate, so I'd probably trade queens and then take on f2, trapping the rook. Yeah, this is looking pretty good. Queen a4 is an attempt to save the queen and check my king, but then I can block the check with bishop d7. Attacking the queen and still attacking f2. So white's in trouble here. And this might be the best move, queen takes d5. Okay, queen d3. That's interesting. So if I take on f2 with the knight, there's queen g3 and the g-pawn is attacked. Maybe white gets some counterplay. I'm calculating knight takes h1, queen takes g7, queen h4. That looks good for me. Let's go for this. Yeah, I'm going to be the first one to start attacking the king. I guess there's 92. 92. I mean, even if I'm not like mating immediately, I have one material. Any point I could play rook f8 and be completely safe. But I'm looking at bishop f2. Because if king f1, it's mate with bishop h3. King d1. Oh, can I sack the rook? Oh, maybe not. I was calculating bishop f2, king d1, bishop g4. But then there's takes and eventually knight c3. Yeah, I should probably just play rook f8. Like sooner rather than later. Do I start with bishop f2? Let's start with bishop f2. I'll give white the option to blunder into mate. Yeah, knight c3 would attack the queen and pawn. I'm really resistant to playing a defensive move. I'm still looking for ways to create mating threats, but I'm not quite seeing it. And there's queen b4 to try and threaten mate. Oh, what about... Okay, I have an idea. It's a little bit crazy, but bishop g4 takes king d7. I think the only way for white to defend is knight c3. Queen d4, because knight's pinned. Bishop d2 is the only legal move. And then bishop e3. Threatening mate, I don't think white can stop it. There's king e1, queen takes e2, king f1, bishop h3 checkmate. Okay, I'm sacking the rook. Bishop g4. Oh no, my rook. White doesn't even take it. So now, check. I think it's the same thing. I think I'll still offer the rook. Bishop e3. King d7. Uh-oh. I missed e6. Oh, it's material. I'm going to be up a pawn still. Right? I think. I completely missed e6. Thankfully, my queen's defended. It's a weird position. It was a bit sloppy on my part. I was trying too hard to be brilliant. There's a funny line. e6 takes. White could take on h7. And then I probably put the king on c6. White also has knight b1. Okay, white finds e6. Yeah, I can't take with the bishop. I could consider taking with king. But then bishop takes d5. Let's take with the pawn. Kudos to my opponent for not resigning and fighting back. So I won the rook, I lost the rook. It is currently equal material with my minor pieces a bit scattered. I don't think my knight's getting trapped. Like if takes and then takes, the knight does have an escape route. I will say though, I am regretting not having played rook f8. Like I should have just saved my rook and been up material. But still having fun. I'm just realizing if queen takes h7, king c6, queen d3 looks like a nice defensive move for white. But then this knight comes back to life. Knight f2 with a fork. It can be very easy to miss, especially from a distance. Okay, so white trades queens, probably the correct decision. And we have ourselves a fight. Oh, but I'm up a pawn. Yeah, because white didn't win back h7. C6 or knight c6? Probably c6. Even though the knight now has no developing moves towards the center. Okay, this knight's unpinned some, but the bishop's attacked. Let's play this. It'd be funny if white, after surviving so well, would walk into mate with king f1, which they do. Okay. Yeah, just as I thought my mating attack was completely gone. The minor pieces proved to be useful. Yeah, sloppy slightly sloppy game, but another miniature. That was a 20-move game. I'll quickly analyze here. So d4 is the beginning of, what does chess.com call this? The Bishop's opening Berlin Ponziani Gambit. I think if knight f3 and then take, I think this is like a line in the Urusov. White played e5, and then, yeah, black is already doing quite well here. And as we saw, the d4 pawn was a bit poisonous. Yeah, all of this was fine. Oh, engine likes bishop f2 first. Queen e4 is also fine. And yeah, I should just play rook f8. Bishop g4. Allowed this e6 resource. Yeah, again, rook f8. But I was never in trouble. I was always controlled. White should play king d1 here, and then I was probably just going to expand b5, a5, kick back the bishop, gain space, and eventually develop the knight. Okay, that brings me to 16-16. Let's keep it going. Black again. We'll have another king's pawn. Okay, let's go for Stafford Gambit. I think we're still at a rating level where the Stafford can be very effective if white stumbles into it. Bishop to c4, so yeah, there's a few options here. The objective best move is to take on e4. But I kind of want to transpose into a two knights, maybe allow the fried liver. Here we have a two knights going into an Italian. I can still take the pawn if I want, but okay, let's play an Italian. Bishop c5. Maybe I'll go for this plan of bishop g4, knight d4, depending what white does. Okay, so it could be completely symmetrical if I castle here. But generally with such an opening, I like to delay castling because very often, especially at this rating level, I can get a pretty quick attack on the king side. White is really wanting me to take this pawn. It is again capturable, but I'm not interested. I want to play this, and then knight d4 is on tap. Do I go for a fishing pole trap? Bishop h5 is also logical. Let's go for the fishing pole. Haven't had too many fishing pole ideas in this series. So the idea with this is if white takes a bishop, I take back, and even though I lose material, the h-file opens, knight's attacked, and there's a lot of lines like, let's say, takes, knight h2, I can then take and queen h4 and get a very quick mating attack. And this might actually happen regardless, like even if white doesn't take the bishop right away, I'm going to start by taking the knight, just so the queen has more scope. And whatever white takes back with, I'll play knight d4. And now white's in a situation where this pin is super annoying, and my opponent might be obliged to take on g4, allowing the h-file to open. For example, takes, and then takes. I probably don't take back. I probably just go for the kill with queen h4. That might even be force mate. Okay, bishop g4, or bishop g5. That's an attempt to prevent my queen from coming in. However, I think I can take the knight with check. Oh, but then queen takes. Oh, interesting. Yeah, I thought they can take and then just take the bishop, but it's something to calculate. Because it takes, queen takes, and then f7 hangs. King d8. Yeah, it does look a bit risky. Like bishop e6 would threaten mate in that line. Yeah, this is probably the most practical choice from white. Maybe the best move, too. And I'm in a spot where we might have to simplify a bit. There is another line here to take with the pawn, sack my queen, and then knight e2 actually wins back the queen. But then it just leads to a lot of trades. Takes, e2 pawn will be lost. I take the bishop. These pawns are hanging in the end. It doesn't look great for me. Huh. Yeah, to be honest, I thought I was going to win this game like very quickly, but I guess I'm also at the rating level where players are being more resourceful and making me work a bit harder. There's not too many other options. So I'm leaning towards taking, allowing queen takes f7. But then if I allow bishop e6, I'm going to have to trade queens and I'll be down a pawn. So do I have this? But then take, that also doesn't look good. Yeah, great find by white. Huh. Really trying to just exhaust all my possibilities. Queen d7. And I don't have enough of an attack. Okay, one more time. Takes. Can I just leave everything as is and take back? Rook e1. Okay, so I think the plan is takes here. If white finds bishop e6, I have to trade queens and I'll be down a pawn, but life goes on. I think white is going to probably have to play bishop e6. Like if I get one more move to set up mating ideas, that would be nice. Like if it's my move, I play this, then it's probably game over in black's favor. White has no checks to the king, no defense on the king side. But this move, yeah, threatens mate in one, basically forces me to defend. d4, unexpected. Queen h4? Just make sure. Queen h4, does white have anything? Like if the f pawn moves, then I take. I think white missed their chance there. Lost a crucial tempo. It goes to show the power of initiative. Like if you can be the one to make a threat first, it can sometimes decide the game. And this does look like forced mates. Like white could maybe prolong the game by sacking the queen, but there's really no defensive resource here that I see. Yeah, f4, and now I could either play g3 or bishop takes g4, but this is check, so it's actually just made in two. Okay. Interesting game. Another quick game, but yeah, definitely some interesting moments and probably some moments where I probably should have been worse. Let's take a look. So opening was quite normal. Engine does say I should take the pawn here, but then maybe white gets some initiative, like d3 and then bishop g5. It's actually an interesting gambit where Engine says this is playable for white. But yeah, I went for bishop g4. And yeah, we see the eval bar not so fond of my fishing pole trap. Oh, interesting. So according to the engine, white is much better after knight g5. Which I don't think I even anticipated, but this would block the queen. I'd probably still go for queen f6 and try and attack. But it might be hard to actually force anything because there's queen takes g4. And white's going to have enough defenses. Okay, so I could have been worse. Bishop g5, which I thought was a good move in the moment, is actually losing for white. But why? Queen takes f3. I should have taken the queen. What's the difference? I don't think I seriously considered this line. I thought it's similar where my pawns are hanging. But the engine says this is really good for black. Maybe because like eventually the rook will swing over and there's going to be a lot of pressure on the h-file. Yeah, I didn't quite realize like how good this could be. I think it's based on some like much deeper ideas. I took the bishop and yeah, white should play bishop e6 here, forcing queen e7, and then take, and yeah, black would be down a pawn here, but yeah, maybe there's still some initiative. Rook h4 and rook h8 is coming. So, yeah, another game where yeah, maybe my opponent could have been fine with more precise play, but I got the quick win. That was 16 moves. Brings me to 1624. Let's do another. Okay, playing Cookie Masters. This time I'm white. We have a Pirc defense. I'll play d4 and knight c3. I've encountered this, feels like a handful of times so far this series. This early c6. I do want to be aggressive. I'm going to play pawn f4 and just go for some nice development. To be honest, I don't know too much theory here, but I see the queen is pinning the knight, so I defend the e4 pawn, develop this knight, and just want a castle sooner rather than later. And sometimes having moved the f-pawn could create some weakness on my king side, but also creates more opportunities to attack. Okay, here this knight is pinned, so black is threatening to take. Leaning towards bishop e3. Yeah, bishop e3, why not? And this is very standard development, controlling the center. Once I castle, this knight will be unpinned. I'm probably expecting knight d7. Instead, black retreats the queen, so pinning this pawn on d4 because my bishop's not defended, also attacking the pawn on b2, which I could probably care less about. Not the most important pawn. The bigger threat is probably to take and then take with the fork. Yeah, that's slightly annoying. I'm wondering if I can just allow it in castle. Even start with h3. Oh, there's knight a4 too. The idea with, let's say, h3, take, and then take, it would be bishop f2 to have the pin. But then queen takes b2, and maybe black gets too much there. Yeah, very interesting. Kind of leaning towards knight a4. Simply attacking the queen, defending b2. If queen b4, I play c3. blocking the check and attacking the queen and defending the knight. Very important. So this idea sometimes comes up in other openings where you move the knight, you play c3, and even though the knight's on the edge, the queen is also a bit awkward. Like if queen a5, I could play b4. Queen a5 is probably the only move for black to save the queen. And black is threatening to play b5 to trap the knight, so I'll play b4, not only attacking the queen, but giving the knight a retreating square. And now, let's just castle. Do I want to play h3? I should consider taking the pawn. Take. Probably not necessary. Another idea is queen e1 to g3. Maybe I'll start with that. There's another benefit with having moved the f-pawn. This diagonal is more accessible. The queen can come into the king side to help attack. And as we go into the middle game, it's not entirely clear where black is going to put the king. It seems like all areas of the board will have potential to attack. And yeah, let's start with queen g3 here. This creates some alignment, not only on the g file, but also this diagonal. There's cases where if I take and then take, there's a pin on the diagonal. Definitely ready to attack on the king side. Castle king side, there's some f5 ideas. I'll take with rook. This allows for doubling up on the f file if I want. Okay, black is using the same idea that I used on the queen side. Attacking my queen and defending the pawn. f4 is also attacked. I play this, there's knight f6. Interesting. I think this is still fine though. I could also play queen h3. I think it's okay to provoke knight f6. Yeah, very soon there's going to be a trade on f4. If knight f6, I probably take queen h3 and then take, and then take, and then take, and then take. We'll have a nice center. The queen on h3 will prevent black from castling queenside. And then the plan will still be to bring the other rook in, maybe eventually expand in the center. Knight f6. Okay, so allowing me to take on g7. It's tempting. Like black gets a g file, I play queen h6. There's knight g4. Okay, I'm going to play queen h3. I really like my position. I don't want to make a drastic change. I also don't want to give black easy play. At h5, interesting. So setting up knight g4. That makes some sense. Maybe I can take once and then play rook f1. Yeah, that looks pretty good. Once I double up the rooks, the knight will be pinned. Oh, wow. I was going to say pinned to the f-pawn. But black does not recapture on e5. Goes for knight g4. So giving me some choice. Rook takes f7 is very tempting. And then like pawn e6. I don't think it works though. I think I should just take on d6. And then pawn e5. Black with the pre-moves. Interesting. Okay, rook f1 looks good. Bishop f5. I'll play rook f1. Okay, opponent I think is just maybe throwing in the towel. I wonder if that was like an accident. Like they tried to undo a pre-move, but instead they multi-pre-moved. That may have been what happened. I've seen this happen to people before where they get confused with the multi-pre-moves.
Here and here and here, and then it's this and this and this.
Because you pre-move this and you try and undo it, but then you could like really mess things up. And maybe my opponent didn't know how to cancel. Like you have to either right click or I guess make a different pre-move. Okay, let's finish this off. What do I want to do? Knight c5. After the game, I'm going to go back to that moment and see, like, at the exact moment they played these bishop moves. But that's my speculation. Okay, castling queenside. Because for most of this game, they've been playing like good chess, like not making life easy for me. Do I want to take the knight? I really want to set up some funny mate. Maybe bishop g3. Unleashing the rook battery. Also setting up rook f5, which is nice. It could be nice to play rook f5, attack the queen, and then win this pawn. And then the knight's not defended, and the queen has more life on h3. Okay, let's go for this. Queen takes a2. I'm going to take on h5. So attacking the rook, attacking the knight. Oh, let's be careful. Let's be careful. There's some trickiness. If I take, there's knight here threatening the fork. I'm actually more inclined to take the knight. Yeah, that way I keep the pin of this knight. And at this point in the game, I think I just want to go for the kill as quickly as possible. I do allow rook g5, but that's okay. Rook g5, queen f4, threatening mate. Oh, there's an even funnier line. I don't think I can resist. I'm going to play queen e6. If black takes, it's a fork. If black moves, let's say queen d2 looks natural, then it's mate in 2. It's a really beautiful mate in 2. And this was already on my mind, like when I took the knight instead of the rook, having the bishop pierce through the position. But yeah, there's no guarantee my opponent will allow this. I'm kind of sad. I wanted queen takes e6, bishop a6 mate. Instead, I just get a fork of the rooks, which is also fine. What to do? Okay. So we trade down. I'm up a bishop. In hindsight, maybe I should have played queen f4 and been a bit more efficient. Now I'm threatening this. It's actually a little bit awkward for black. That's a good move, though. f5 is coming. Let's get rid of this pawn. Okay, so we have basically the same situation as a few moves ago, but Now black doesn't have the pawn to block with. And knight c5 is a threat. Even knight f8 is a threat. b6 doesn't quite work. Okay, I'll take with bishop. And opponent resigns. I'm going to ask my opponent if they intended those bishop moves, the bishop pre-moves. Let's see if they reply. Yeah, so it's possible they pre-moved this, and then they tried to undo it by putting it back, and then they did it, like, then they pre-moved it again, but didn't realize they multi-pre-moved, like 3 moves in a row. Because it was 3 moves in a row, right? Yeah. Yeah, I'm almost positive that's what happened. But maybe we'll never know for sure. Anyway, yeah, my opponent actually played a fine game. Like, it was an interesting opening. I got the early space advantage. They put some pressure. Knight a4 is fine. Engine likes takes, and queen d2. And if takes... Oh, to defend the bishop and setting up this. That's kind of cool. But knight a4 was solid. And I don't think I was ever in trouble. Black should play this. And then, yeah, of course, I won material. And just to show this moment towards the end, if queen d2, then I was going to take on c6 and say, oh no, my queen. Get merch, shop.iamrosen.com, takes, and then checkmate. I think this is called the Boden's mate. But didn't quite pan out, but that's okay. I'm finishing this episode at 16:31. Thank you everyone for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed the chess today. As always, if you like the content, do subscribe. And yeah, again, I'm not sure when the next episode will be posted, but that's another reason to hit that subscribe button so you get notified when next episode does come out. And stay tuned.